Hey guys, Uriel came back with you with another episode of Ask Yuri, and today we're going to be investigating something interesting here. I got a question recently that was very simple, and they wanted to know, are all foods good raw? Now this is a very interesting and possibly debatable answer that I'm going to give you. So obviously I promote eating more raw foods because I believe that it is obviously better for human beings to do so. Having said that though, everyone responds differently to foods, right? I mean, both of us could be eating broccoli and we might respond totally different to those same foods. So it's important that you find what foods resonate well with your body and eliminate those that don't, right? For me, dairy, milk, wheat, all those common allergenic foods don't work well for me. They might work well for you, they might not. Most likely they don't. And you want to find the foods that work well for you and stick with those. Now, when it comes to raw foods, right? Obviously, we're not talking about eating raw meat, but we're talking about raw fruits and vegetables. But are all of those foods good in their raw state? Well, the answer is no. Now, you might think that, I've mentioned this before that, when you cook your foods or heat your foods, you destroy the enzymes in them, you destroy the mineral content and the vitamin content, and you remove a lot of the phytonutrients. So it becomes, say, okay, what's the point of cooking your foods then? That's a good point, right? But you also want to think of this. Some foods actually have properties that inhibit certain processes, if you will, in the body. So for instance, we have foods in the brassica family, right? So cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, right? The cruciferous vegetables in a lot of cases. When you eat these foods in their raw state, they actually have a thyroid suppressing function. So they're known as goitrogenic foods, right? And this is also similar to soy. So what research has shown is actually if you just lightly cook these foods, you'll actually remove their thyroid suppressing features, if you will. So the brassica family vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, whatever else is in that family, I can't really think right now, those would be better lightly cooked. Okay, so you can eat them raw, they'll be benefit to some degree, but also you don't want to be suppressing your thyroid because your thyroid is right in here, right? It's your master gland for your metabolism, right? And if you have an underactive thyroid, you're going to have a sluggish metabolism, and if you're looking to lose weight, that's not a good thing, okay? So that's the first set of foods that I would not recommend eating raw all the time. Now, the second thing is you want to consider if you're into raw foods and you're eating a lot of grains, nuts and seeds, stuff like that, you also want to consider that pretty much all nuts and seeds, grains, have what's known as phytic acid. Okay, and phytic acid is found in the hulls, like the shell kind of these nuts, seeds, and grains. And what phytic acid does is it actually reduces or kind of prevents the absorption of a lot of minerals in the GI tract. So that's not a great thing, right? So what you want to do is you want to look at ways to remove the phytic acid. And one of the ways obviously is to cook, boil, those, for instance, grains. If you're having oatmeal, obviously you'd want to have it, lightly cooked or cooked to the fullest to remove and obviously cook it, removing the phytic acid and obviously make it more palatable. But another way to do it, and this is if you want to stay raw, and this is actually, I find a lot of the stuff tastes better this way, is actually sprouting. Soaking and sprouting various nuts and seeds and grains. So for instance, if you wanted to have oatmeal, instead of doing, for instance, steel cut oats, right? Steel cut oats, which are really like the best way to have a cooked oatmeal because they contain everything in the oat. Instead of doing that, you can actually get oat groats, raw oat groats, which is the unhulled, processed form of oats, and you can soak those, and that will help remove the phytic acid. Now, you let them soak for maybe, I think it's probably about overnight, about a day or so, and then they become a lot more, easy to eat, if you will. You're not going to eat them without soaking them. They'll break your teeth pretty much. So that's one way to do it. Same thing with a lot of the nuts and seeds. You can sprout them, you can soak them, and that will reduce the phytic acid in those foods. So other than that though, pretty much, all the fruits, they can eat, pretty much all fruit, I think, as far as I can, think of, can be eaten raw and is better in that raw state. Again, most of the vegetables are fine in their raw state. The brassica family, you want to steam them, cook them a little bit just to remove their goitrogenic properties. And the nuts and seeds, just a little sprouting or soaking will help reduce the phytic acid in those. So, it's been a very interesting question. I think a lot of people need to know this because it's something that not a lot of people consider, but hopefully that's helped you out. Hopefully that's given you some more options. And once again, thank you for the question, and I'll see you in the next video.